Welcome one more time to Live with Intelligence. This is some kind of special edition because we're doing a live workshop today, and I'm really excited to be joined by my friend Victor to dig deeper on today's topic. Uh, we had a bit of a last minute change because any our featured guest couldn't make it to the session, but we're ready to still go through the original topic and show you guys what it's like to build an AI brain that finds growth opportunities. Is that right, Victor? Maybe Victor is frozen
I'm
for a
back.
bit.
I'm
I
back.
think you're not frozen anymore.
Yeah, I'm back. Man, thank you. I didn't know you already have music, intro music here.
Yeah,
So
we
you
have
are getting
countdowns,
nice.
music, and like a lot going on. So yeah, very excited
Yeah,
about this session.
good. Great, man. Great. I missed a few of the seconds with the intro, but yeah, I think it's going to be a great session about what we want to say on AI, how having this tool can integrate into your process. But yeah, I'll let you start with this.
Sure. So before, while Victor get ready to share the screen and walk us through some of the actual content we're gonna uh, go through today, the intention behind this session is to put hands on some of the tools that we make available for the world and for the operators. Actually, the whole idea behind this concept is this concept of the person we're calling the connected operator, which is someone who's sitting on the data and acting on it. Uh, I think quantity of data is not the problem these days. It's more about how much you can do with that. And we have the tools and the capabilities to make the best use out of the data that a brand can have at a given point. Sometimes we just need some guidance in terms of like how to again like collect this data but also use it at the right moment to inform your next growth opportunities. So what we'll be doing today with Victor, who's going to share his screen and walk us through some of the concepts, is to understand how we can use Intelligem's MCP and
Yeah.
use it as the operative system to build all this intelligence and make sure that you're moving into the right direction. So we will, you should expect a lot of examples, real use cases, and overall just a grasp of what it's like to actually do this in practice. Obviously, we encourage the viewers to open their laptops to try the thing on their own because I think it's reasonable to think that this is the future of growth experimentation and just I think growth in general, right, Victor?
Yeah, correct. And as we were talking behind the scenes here, it's just also understanding like these tools like the AI, MCP, Claude Code, ChatGPT, whatever, they come just as what they are. They are just tools to make our current processes just better, right? They by themselves are not going to do anything. So if you don't have like the right mindset to understand how these tools can help you in that process of making better decisions for your business, increasing the certainty for your business. If you don't have that, let me tell you that the AI will even bring you worse results if you don't have the right mindset, right? So, yeah, my intention with this session will be to just to give you a walkthrough some of these tools, but also like give you a walkthrough of how these tools integrate with that mindset. And yeah, that will be it.
Awesome. That sounds fantastic, Victor. Let's get into it. I'm going to feature your screen and add it to stage. I think you can get ready in terms of like getting your screen, and the stage is all yours. I'll keep you grounded. For those who don't know Victor, he's an absolute master in terms of like AI usage and practical, yeah, use cases of it. So I might ask more basic question. Will make
Please,
you go back in terms of like provide more
please.
context and so on. Uh, but I'm really stoked to see what I'm seeing right now, which is a blank slate of Claude code in this case with the Intelligems MCP connected. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, if you guys are new to this, all you have to know is that you can install the Cloud desktop app, and there you will see a space here with with the Cloud Code section. When you click on that, you will be on Cloud Code. And yeah, Cloud Code. I don't want to make this presentation about what Cloud Code is and how you can use it, but I will try to give you the basics. Cloud Code will give you the opportunity to have an excellent AI agent that is its expertise is in coding, but also in knowledge work, which is our case here. So when you start on Cloud Code, all you have to do is just to assign a project to it. And the way you can assign a project to it, you just click on new, and then you will see here the space to assign the project, which is basically just creating a folder on your computer wherever you want, and you will have a project for working with Cloud Code.
So
Okay.
it's important to call out that when using Cloud Code, there's a component of using local files, right? Like I think we're so used to the cloud these days that
Yeah.
sometimes it might sound counterintuitive and like a thing of the past. But keep me honest here, Victor. Every time you interact with Cloud Code, you're basically prompted to work with a local folder on your own machine, where
Correct.
the complex and those files, markdown files in most cases, live. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's right. That's how Cloud Code or the uh, the similar one that is called Codex, which is the ChatGPT Cloud Code version. They work in the very similar way, like with local files on your computer. Depending on your machine, there are other options for cloud environments, but this is only what you need to use for now if you don't want to make things a little bit more complex. But as Carlos was saying, this is just a local file. If I click here and I click on show in Finder, you will see that this is a folder in my computer here. So that there is no any magic on this. This is just a folder. Open it on Cloud Code, and Cloud Code now will work inside that folder.
Amazing. Victor, two more questions or call outs. One, uh, I guess I'll start with two, and then I'll leave the next question for later in the process. But one is, please briefly let us know what an MCP is, and also how people can find Intelligence MCP on the on Claude.
Perfect, perfect. So an MCP is basically just a connection between one software and another software. It's the same purpose that API has, which is just to be the key connection between one thing and another thing. MCP came after APIs because they were more optimized for working with AI models. But that's it. It's just a connection between Cloud Code in this case with other software. The benefit of having that connection is that Cloud Code can send uh, information, data, or can ask questions to that other side of the connection, to that other software. And in the same way, the software can send information to Cloud Code. So it can work in both ways, which is super useful when you are trying to retrieve data from one point to another and analyze it with all the power of AI. And how you can connect this MCP is super easy. I'm going to show you how is the UX UI of that on Cloud Code, but in any other AI agent, coding agent like Codex or ChatGPT will be very similar. So all you have to do is to, on Cloud Code, is to click here in the sidebar, then go to customize, then you will find this connectors section, and then you will click here where it says add, and then it will take you to the browse connectors. In the browse connectors, and this is really new, you will be able to just type Intelligems, that easy, and you will see the connection with Intelligems. Of course, as I am already connected, you won't see the plus symbol here, but it will be as easy as just clicking that, and it will get connected to your account. I know that when it connects, it will ask you for some authentication, so it validates what account in Intelligems you have, and that will be it. Like, it's super easy, a couple of clicks, and that's it.
Amazing. Thanks for the walkthrough there. One more question before I let you continue. I cannot ignore that you have bypass permissions sign at the bottom left of your screen. I don't think people will see that by default, right?
No, people won't see that by default. They will see this mode, which is accept edits, which is like that the mode where Cloud Code, whenever you want to do any type of action on your computer, because remember, Cloud Code works locally with whatever is happening on your computer. Like, it can run commands, it can open folders, it can search the web, whatever action Cloud Code wants to execute, it will ask you for permissions, like, hey, do you allow me to do this? Do you allow me to do this? And that will happen like super, super often. And that kind of cut the vibe when you are in your workflow, you know. So that's why I have bypass permission. However, like, personal experience, I haven't had any type of issue problem with that. I have seen on Twitter all other cases where people have had some uh, yeah, cases where maybe Cloud Code does something that they didn't expect it to do, and they didn't like it. But I think that the middle ground between Cloud Code always asking for permissions versus never asking for permissions will be this mode that is called auto here. That mode is like Cloud Code deciding what is safe and what is not safe, and it will stop and ask you for permissions in those high sensitive actions that it wants to execute. So if you are just starting with this, or you have trust issues with AI, you can opt for auto mode here.
Lovely. Thanks for the context there, Victor. Please continue.
Okay, cool. So I want to start here. So when you are in a new session on Cloud Code, let me just have it like this so you can see it from the beginning. You will see just this interface here. And as we were saying, Cloud Code is working on a folder on your computer. I want to see what is inside that folder, right? In order to be able to see what is inside that folder from this same space here, uh, Cloud Code has to show you a couple of icons here at the right corner. And in order to activate those icons, all you have to do is to send just a simple message first. If you don't have a clear prompt to start with, I just say hi here, and you will see these icons here. Then you click on those three dots, and you will be able to click on files. And all these things that you are seeing here are things that are actually inside that folder called Intelligems MCP. So if I click here and I click on Finder, you will see that it's as simple as a file on your computer. Again, so something that I'm trying to do with this presentation is that I want to knock out every type of mysterious ways of AI or people or guru people trying to make this seem super complex when it's just a bunch of folders and files being handled by AI agent, and that's it. Okay.
Makes
So
sense. I think it starts to make sense.
yeah, right. And the reason why I want you to be able to see the files is because this will show you our topic of today is what is the architecture of an operation system. And as I said, an operation system for an experimentation program is just a bunch of files. In this case, a markdown file, which means just a simple text file. All right. So it's that simple. Again, the structure of your operation system for any type of topic, it doesn't have to be only experimentation, but let's say you do paid media, you do retention, whatever, your operation system inside a AI agent like Claude Code will be just a bunch of text files. It's that easy. And something that we were discussing before starting the live today is that an operation system is at the end, it's just a what many people know as a second brain. It's just a place where you gather the context of the project where that you are working on, right? So imagine that the operation system is just a person, and it's a person that you just hired to your company, and you need to give this person context about the company and context about what this person is going to do, right? So this person, of course, is going to need something like a brand context, as I'm putting it here. Brand context like, hey, this is us, this is our currency, where we are placed, where we work, the category and positioning of our store, what type of products we sell. Like all this information is of course relevant for someone starting in your company in a growth, retention, paid media, whatever role, right? So start thinking of that operation system as this person, what this person is going to be needing to make better decisions, to operate, right? So you will need context, you will need this a space for explore to, well, we will get into those later, but you will need files where you can get those that context, and the order or how many files or how those files are structured into, like, today it doesn't matter much because the models are smart enough to understand what you mean when you are putting all those things here. Of course, the more organized, the better. But if it is not perfect today, it doesn't really matter if you are using a good model or just a smart model as Opus here in the case of Claude Code. If you are in ChatGPT, it will be called GPT 5.6 or Grok or whatever. It will understand that context. The most important thing is that you give or you provide the context. Any questions so far, Carlos?
Yeah, Victor, I want to know, like, I'm under the assumption that you can also use AI to create those files and collect that context. Like, I don't think people are expected to write what you just showed us like manually necessarily. So what would be kind of like the trick to create all these files in the first place? Like, can you ask AI to give you that structure and those initial files? Also, I know we're biased here, but we're fans of like voice to text kind of like solutions. So assuming you can just like throw maybe call transcripts there and like do a lot of like rambling and like
Yeah.
something along those lines to bring this to life.
Yeah, short answer, yes, you can provide all this context, and the AI will build the entire thing for you by you providing that context. And one way to provide that context can be as simple as, hey, this is the URL of my store, and you will start there. And then you can get better and better by saying, I don't know, hey, here is my Intelligems MCP connection. I am connected to the Intelligems MCP. If you are already in Intelligems, the MCP will be able to provide that context in very deep to the AI here, right? So it will be able to give context about orders, shipping zones, products that you have, the catalog that you have, uh, previous tests, A/B tests that you have run if you have run some, which is great to understand what you will do next, right? Uh, yeah, Intelligems MCP is one way, as something as simple as providing a URL, something as Carlos was mentioning, providing transcription of the calls, or a lot of AI agents, the apps already have this feature here, which is just activating your mic and you will start just talking to your AI. You can be there talking like for 40 minutes and you will provide every single piece of context. Something that I always say is that AI, Claude Code, ChatGPT, whatever, they don't care how you give that context. They care that you give the context, right? So if you start just speaking with the voice to texting and you start with the end and you finish with the start, AI doesn't care about that. It cares that you gave it the context, right? And
And you don't necessarily need to give it in such an organized manner, right? Like you can
no,
let AI organize the information for you.
correct, correct. So you provide all that context and then you say, like, hey, you are going to be my operation system for this specific purpose, for retention, for experimentation, for paid media. I want you to take all this information and structure it in a way that will be easy for you to navigate it, to understand it, to maintain it, because that context hopefully will continue growing and growing every day because your business is not static. So yeah, that's the way to provide that context. And as I said, the prompt is as simple. You don't need like a super complex prompt, like in the previous years where people were even selling how to structure prompts. You don't have to do that. The most important thing is that you provide the context. You give that context, ask it to organize it, and that will be it. So let me walk you through a little bit more of what I have here in these files. So first thing, uh, as I said, you are creating your operation system, in this case for your experimentation program, right? So what you will need, I like to think of this as a human. So you will need brand context, every information about finances, who you sell to, your different customer personas, where you sell, all that type of context will be relevant. Uh, and then you will need, I like to think about experimentations, and that's one of the philosophies here at Intelligems. We like to think about experimentation in three different spheres, which are experimentation, exploration of the data, experimentation of that data, of those findings, and then extend. So what are the findings that you got and how they can extend through your business, right? Because A/B testing is not just on your website. A/B testing is for your entire business, right? So you are trying to put all that logic, all that mindset just in files, because we want AI to be able to read all that uh, intention, uh, so it can become a real companion of your efforts, right? For any type of things that you are doing. Any questions so far, Carlos?
Just would love to have a peek on some of those files. I don't know if there's confidential data there, but
No,
otherwise,
no,
like
we
just
are
to
good.
have a brief idea of the structure. Also, I
We are
think it's
good.
important, very important to mention that Victor comes from a practitioner standpoint. Like he was running actual experimentation programs for 7, 8, 9 figure brands. Um, for a living, basically. So this is the point of view of somebody who ran tests as a way to grow businesses. So I think that's important color to add in order to understand how this is structured and what's the idea behind this. As we mentioned last time, I had the pleasure to have you of one of the live streams, Victor. A couple of years ago, we used to joke that one person couldn't run an experimentation program, but with the MCP, that's not a joke anymore. Like one person can run an experimentation program because we haven't gotten there, but you could also push test right from the MCP, and you can get them ready and pause them and launch them and like run your entire experimentation show from
Yeah,
Claude. Save so much time in the process.
yeah,
So this is really powerful.
yeah, definitely, definitely. And with everything that you are mentioning, is not to say like AI will replace us or something like that. Is AI is here just to enhance those processes that we already have to make them just faster, more efficient and things like that. And that's what we are trying to do here at Intelligems. And yeah, coming from that experimentation mindset, I want to start with this. Every time I'm starting to think about, okay, let's do some growth for this brand, what I do first as a human, I will do start with exploring what I'm going to explore. I'm going to explore the data that I already have and how that exploration happens. 2 years ago, that exploration will happen by me going through a dashboard, clicking a hundred of times to get a report, reading a report, I don't know, waiting for it to download, whatever manual processes you can imagine. And nowadays, this exploration process is as easy as connecting the Intelligems MCP, and Intelligems MCP will give you a site-wide exploration of all your data. You can even set what windows you want to analyze, how you want to correlate. Like you can get as creative as you want for this exploration of data. And again, exploration of data means we are here in order to check our data, check what is happening in the business context, and decide where there are opportunities uh, for business decisions that we can later validate through experimentation. That's what we are doing with exploration of data. And the MCP is here to make this exploration way easier than in the past. Any
That's
questions so
fantastic.
far? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
more than a question is like something we preached for years. Those of us who have been in growth experimentation or CRO for long enough is that you need to build a knowledge database in order for all those initiatives and resources to be to give you the expected return. With AI and with a setup of this kind, this just became truly real, and I
Yeah.
mean, I would say tangible, even
Yeah.
it's like bits and bytes. In terms
Yeah.
of like having that knowledge database really work in your favor. So it's not only about collecting the data, but using it onwards and making it more useful over time. One very common use case is a lot of brands just hire people to run experiments. They live with that knowledge, and then they find themselves just repeating the same test or just like not compounding those learnings.
Correct.
This kind of setup will not let you fall for that kind of trap, because it will be very effective on just keeping all that information stored in a single place, and
Yeah.
obviously to collect those insights like in seconds. I know we'll go through examples shortly here, but like with the MCP, you can just have the data you want like really, really quickly.
Yeah, right. And you also like kill the bottleneck of going through that manual process of gathering all that data when AI, and in this case the MCP plus Cloud Code, can do a better job, not at deciding what you have to do with the data, but something as simple and something that shouldn't be the main part of your job, which is just a manual work here of gathering all that data and putting it in a nice format so you can analyze it and read it and understand it to keep going, right? So, yeah, and as I said, you can get as creative as you want when you are not putting all your efforts on getting all this data, but on, okay, how I'm going to use this data that I have right now. So, this is just an example. I'm not saying that you have to have a explore.md file, which again is just a text file. I'm saying that have just those mental frameworks of you need to explore your data, experiment your data, and then see what you do with the results of those experiments, right? So get as creative as you want. In this case, for example, I was saying like, hey, at the beginning, Claude decided to use the Intelligems MCP and to just analyze 30 days of data. And I was like, hey, no, I would prefer if we do 30, 60, and 90 days of data. So we are not working with a lot of noise of things that can happen in a 30-day window, but looking for correlations in a in a 3 months period, which is I think a good time range to analyze things, to analyze trends. Of course, you can extend this to be 6 months, a year, or whatever, and you will get more correlations of whatever is happening, right? So you will get things of what is the current position of this store, what is happening on conversion rate, AOV, median order. All these numbers are again provided easily in one click with our Intelligems MCP. And this is not me just promoting the Intelligems MCP. This is me as a CRO from 4 years ago that just grabbing this information and making it make sense was a whole process. It was like a whole thing, and now I can spend my time more in the part that I enjoy the most, which is thinking what I'm going to do with all this. I'm going to do with all this data, right? That's what I want to know here, right? So this is just giving you, yeah, what is the current status of the store? What are the trends that are holding in those different time windows, what is happening in terms of your funnel, and then something important here. And Carlos, I know that I think you will be with me in this. This is not telling me like, hey, this is the data and this is what you should test. This is gathering that data and then it is telling me its observations. So it is not making conclusions of what should be the next move. It is just observing from a neutral standpoint what's going on currently with the data that we have available.
Lovely. And needless to say, all these documents that all these files that we're exploring right now, you can also use the MCP to create them. I mean, at least the more like the ones that are more closely connected with quantitative data, you could use the MCP to just
Yeah,
it's available, right?
yeah. All this exploration file was 100% made with the help of our Intelligems MCP. And again, something as simple as saying, asking to Claude like, hey, I want you to use the Intelligems MCP and check my site-wide analytics data of my Shopify store. And put it all in this exploration document and have it there. And again, I'm sorry for saying this so many times, but you can get as creative as you want with this, so you can keep enhancing it with more context. At the end, is that more context. So let's say that you have your heat map data, put it here as well, and see the exploration of that heat map data, your surveys, your reviews, your user testing, whatever. It can be all part of that exploration. The most important thing that you have to understand is that you have to start by exploring what you currently have in the data, because that is already giving you the answers that you are looking for. Those answers that you are looking for, they are not in a Twitter post from someone saying that this is the most flashy thing to test right now. The data is already telling you where is a problem, where is an opportunity, and then you will get that data to be tested to be able to validate those decisions that you want to make.
Lovely.
Awesome. So
Victor, I also see a folder that is called a test. What's in there?
Okay. So test, this is part of that context. The Intelligems MCP, the work that it did in this case is that it took the test from this given brand here, and it checked like what was the test. And why we want to know that is because that's super useful context of something as simple as what you have test and did it work uh, or not, uh, and what you learned from that test and what that represents in terms of business decisions, right? And having that context here in a simple markdown file, text file that your AI can read will be super useful for you to make those better decisions.
Amazing. Uh, I guess show us an example of what it's like to chat with the Intelligems NCP. Like once it's
Yeah,
connected and once we have an idea of what an structure would look like, what is
yeah,
the connection between the I guess the folder structure and the setup and
perfect.
these new data that you can pull or grab. I think, and I have suffered of that sometimes when you're not limited anymore by any, I guess, technical limitations. It's
Yeah,
like sometimes you can also get like just paralyzed by having too many options. So how would
yeah.
you recommend people to start out with this?
Yeah, before that, I just want to show you what the Intelligems MCP was is able to retrieve from your tests. So name of the test, everything that happened in the set in the test in terms of setup, what changed, and the readouts of what happened on the test. And again, you can get as creative as you want on this, like asking it like, hey, what happened with this specific product during this specific time range for mobile users. You can get as specific of that in terms of what you want to retrieve using the MCP. Yeah, so man, yeah, to start you can start with something as simple as uh, this might take a little bit, but we can see other files in the meantime. But you can start by, you know, get me a quick uh, snapshot in a chart of my live intelligence test. Uh, I'm going to write here, don't reveal the name of the store, just in case. I have a couple of rules, but I just want to make sure.
Love it.
Yeah. So yeah,
This
while
is
that
live,
runs,
guys. So yeah, live show.
yeah, yeah. I I hope I don't get fired if a name reveals here.
You're good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's running there, and I think just let me make sure that it is going to. Oh yeah. So let me just stop. Okay, I'm going to provide this. Do this ID no name, please. Okay.
Amazing.
So yeah, while
Victor, I
that
cannot.
runs,
I mean, I might be jumping into conclusions too soon,
yeah,
but I cannot stop thinking that it would just be easier for somebody entering into the field of growth experimentation or, uh, yeah, CRO, if you will. But like, it would just be easier for someone new to this to start with this way than for somebody that's doing it, that has been doing it in certain way for years, to change their mindset about it. This just feels like so natural these days, like this is the go-to approach. Yet, like, I think a lot of people still keep doing this, a lot of this work manually, when there's really not a strong reason why keep doing it that way anymore. What's your view on that?
My my thing on this is that it's always about the mindset, man. Like if you are right into knowing that when you are doing experimentation, it's not just to count one more test in your CV or in the next meeting that you are going to have with your boss, and you want to tell it, hey, yeah, I'm running 5 experiments just because of the sake of running them. When you are not like that and you are thinking, I'm running experiments because I want to validate the business decisions that we are making for our store, for our brand, you are in the right mindset. I want to have an A/B test that it will increase the certainty of me deciding on, I don't know, the price increase that I want to do, the inventory that I want to manage, the discounts that we want to provide for the next Black Friday, Cyber Monday. That's the right mindset here. And when, as you say before, when you remove the technical parts of this, of, I have to understand how to collect data, uh, I don't know, from a Shopify store, how to download the reports and reading them in the right way, etc., etc. When you remove that and you have the mindset, I think, to be honest, that's more than enough if you do the mindset part really well, understanding that you are making business decisions, and A/B testing is one method to do that.
Absolutely. I think it's just easier than ever to be a connected operator these days, because it's now, I guess, you have more opportunity to shine as an individual and to grow a brand, if compared to just having to spend a lot of time on manual work, doing reports, writing, manually writing a lot of the analysis of tests and things of that kind.
Yeah,
When you can let a system like this do the heavy lift for you, then you can focus on the stuff that really moves the needle, like that ideation in terms of like actual execution of ideas, what's new, what's innovative for a business, and especially those big swings that we constantly strive for. And in a way, the more iterative changes just get on autopilot to an extent.
yeah, correct. I highly agree. I am just trying to be respectful here, and I don't want to reveal the name of the store. So let's see if this works. Otherwise, we can just stop sharing the screen, and I will make sure I have a conversation where I use it there without revealing the name of the brand here. But to keep going with the process here, again, as I said, you first explore the data, and then I have another markdown file that I decided to create. But again, this is just how I think of things. Like, okay, I already explored the data. What are the decisions made? Sorry, not the decisions made, but the learnings, the file, the vector. Yeah, the observations. Eh, what are the observations that I made after knowing that data that we explored, right? So I have a simple markdown file with the observations made. And again, this was written with AI. I want to make sure that what observations it made, I can add my observations here. I can edit the observations that AI gave me, but this was AI being able to explore that all that data with me. And again, if you are in the right mindset, you can get as creative as possible by having here, for example, I don't know, experimentation mindset markdown file where you will instruct AI how it has to read the data that it has and how it has to make the observations that it make, right? And now you have all those observations, and now it's the time to decide, okay, what you are going to do with those observations. Decide on what needs to be tested because you found a good opportunity or a super big leak on your data that there is something to fix, right? then you start doing those tests that you will be able to use our Intelligems MCP to basically set them up, and after that you will get the results, you will get them here, and you have another space here where you can have something like learnings. What are the learnings from the test that happened? Entonces, so how many experiments happened, how many of them ended, which ones are live, which ones are paused, and you will have here analysis of that data. Again, the best way to do this will have to put your brain out of your brain and put it here as a text file that will instruct the AI how it has to read the experiment results. Okay, is that clear, Carlos?
Yeah, I think it is. Uh,
Right.
I
Uh-huh.
think I think it's clear, and I personally find it fascinating. Definitely a new way of working, and as I alluded to before, some people might need to rethink the way they think of they've been thinking about growth experimentation, because this is just completely different than what we used to do before. But it's fascinating because from here you can build post test analysis reports and QVRs and like all type of reporting without manually having to pull the data. Of course, I think one limitation we used to have in the past is that a given test wouldn't have a lot of extra context about the business, but that's not a
Uh-huh.
limitation anymore because that context is right there in your OS or your second brain or your
Yeah.
setup. So there's not a disconnect between those two elements anymore, as long as you provide that context.
Yeah, and again, this is just a bunch of files. Like, don't make it more complex than it is. Just a bunch of files with good context of what is happening on the business will help you to make better decisions here. And even a file telling the AI how it should be thinking through things will even be better. Okay. And see, we got first result here where we were asking uh, to get a quick snapshot of the live test that we had for this brand here. And just in order to show you the capabilities of the Intelligems MCP, it is able to go grab the test, see the information of it, and you can ask it for whatever you want in terms of a chart, you want a report, you want an analysis. You can even, as I said before, get more creative and ask, like, for this specific product, what is happening in this test, or what is happening even to products that are out of the test, how they are being affected by what we are testing right now. And imagine, Carlos, if you connect this Intelligems MCP to your Meta Ads MCP, or yeah, your Hitmaps, your Klaviyo, whatever, and you do correlations of all this data. And again, as you said before, like, you don't want to get paralyzed by so much data, but as long as you have a right mindset of what you are trying to look for, what you are trying to learn from your data, you will be in a good standpoint.
Sorry, I was muted. Absolutely, and one of the reasons why we decided to make this line workshop was actually that our our previous guest Annie, who couldn't make it to the session, just showed an actual example of something that he did at his org by using the MCP connected with other tools. I think you might be able to briefly speak about that example, but the point is it's not necessarily about one use case, one specific playbook, or a list of playbooks that people can get inspired by. I think the best results from doing this should come from your own challenges and your own struggles. What's something you've been wishing or trying to do for a while, but it was just too complicated, too cumbersome, something you couldn't spend enough time on. And I guess the right question is, can an MCP and this kind of like uh, second brain setup help me do that more easily? And the answer in most cases will be yes,
Yeah,
because this is like having an army of people working on your team, except they just happen to be text files.
yeah, and they will be more useful if you teach them how to be more useful and don't pretend that they are reading your mind and how you like the outputs, how you like the analysis. If you give them that instructions, they will follow that most of the time, right? And Carlos,
Victor,
also,
can you give us an
yeah,
example of, I guess, pulling a data from the NCP that's connected with the knowledge that we already have? Like I'm thinking of use cases about like, hey, what do we know about user behavior when it comes to, I mean, inspired by what I'm seeing on the screen, product quantity or default quantity of items. Like, can we just connect the dots in terms of like learning from past tests and getting inspired for the upcoming ones?
yeah, yeah, definitely. And you saw it right. Like we have this, you can have a section here, file here that is just extend. And when I say extend, that's another sphere that we have at Intelligems. Is like, okay, you already tested the things that you wanted to test. What you learned from that, what it means for the rest of your business, right? So now you got all those learnings that I have a separate markdown file, learnings.md file here with all the learnings from all the tests and see how this looks like. Shipping is still untested. It recognized that one time I ran it one test for free shipping for this store and it ran just for 1 day. So it's of course something like it didn't conclude anything. So it is telling me that thanks that we have the Intelligems MCP connected and we are able to understand all our growth experimentation data, it is telling me like, hey, you are maybe missing this point on testing your shipping, right? But now that's when you go and check the data again and you have a natural conversation with the MCP and ask it like, hey, how is my shipping right now? How we have it set it up? What is happening in terms of average order value? Are they applying for the free shipping threshold? And you understand all that, and then you can start making better decisions for whatever is happening on your store. Uh, yeah, learnings here like uh, it seems like there was a checkout timer test and it validated. It was tested against batch styles maybe here, and it seems like the batch were the losing test here, and it learned that okay, in this case checkout timers are the ones that need to stay. The batch doesn't matter really much. But then you can instruct this like, okay, is this counting, I don't know, for the seasonality of the store? Is discounting for what type of products the batch was a winner, and what type of products the checkout timer was a winner? And you can start doing all these different type of analysis in order to come up with a better business decision that you want to validate next time. Was that clear, Carlos? I don't know if I answered that there.
Yeah, I think it's clear, and I think what's important to call out here is that obviously you can ask and you can connect the data between what you have on your files and all that knowledge and business intelligence with the MCP and what's running right now. As Victor said, you can also connect it with older data sources like I think your Shopify store, Klaviyo, as Victor said, Meta ads, etc., and it will just get better and better. I
Yeah,
think One other use case that's very powerful is about finding gaps. It's like, okay, you know what we've been
Yeah,
testing over
yeah,
the last 6 months. What
yeah,
are we missing? What's uh the low hanging fruit of, are we spending our resources on the right area? I think in many cases the answer will be no, but I think this is more about understanding all those gaps and opportunities. Victor, can we quickly show us your Finder, your folder structure where we can see all the, but I mean the other view with the Mac OS kind of like, yeah, that's
this,
the one. Just so
this
people have a different view of what we've been talking about, because this is the core of this operative system that we've been discussing the entire time. A bunch of
yeah,
files you can use AI to help you create, but this is the magic. This is where the magic happens in terms of like connecting MCPs with context about your business. So just a different view of what Victor was showing us, but it's just so you have an idea of how simple this can be, of how easy it is to get started with this. Needless to say, from all this data, you can also create charts, reports, presentations, and essentially run your entire growth experimentation show from Claude, which is really fascinating.
yeah, yeah. Really fascinated for sure. And remember again, treat your operation system just as a person, as a human that is starting in your company. And if you want this person to always do the things in the way that you like things to be done, remember to have a file here that instruct the AI how to operate with the things that you like in the way that you like, right? And again, just a bunch of files here.
It's also probably a good idea to give it a name, right?
Uh, you mean like the file names?
Yeah, I mean,
Ah,
no, your
or
entire
for the
system can
agent,
just have a
for the
name and be a
assistant.
person,
It will
supposedly, like an
it will
agent
make
that.
it more fun for sure. It will make it more fun if you
Yeah.
can, yeah, if you can reference like, hey, Mini Carlos, come help me with my growth experimentation. That's way better. And another tip, you can build also this operation system if you want the best of the best. And this is not because I work on Intelligems, but you can go to our YouTube channel and you can ask your AI to transcribe all our YouTube videos, which are super, super top notch. And after you do that, you ask AI like, hey, eh, build me a second brain for a growth experimentation mindset with that information. And that will make it really, really well as well.
Absolutely, we're just basically scratching the surface here in terms of like, and if we were to put it as a TLDR, is just like create
Yeah,
a folder structure with context files so that your system has context and keeps learning from itself.
yeah,
Then connect that with the MCP and you'll have a powerful machine. But that's just the very beginning. Like you can scale it as crazily as you want on words. Basically, your imagination is the limit.
yeah,
Because
correct.
we're wrapping up the session, but I would love you for you to go over some of the visuals that we have on the screen right now and kind
Yeah,
of like wrap up the whole idea.
yeah, yeah. First thing that we were showing here was the like just asking it to use our Intelligems MCP and like, hey, check how the tests are doing. Like, what is the current data of the live tests that we have? And as Carlos was saying, you can get a quick results card of what the thing is doing and you can quickly analyze it. But second thing that I find super interesting, let's say you are just starting, you don't know where to start doing an A/B test, you don't know what to A/B test right now, you want to start exploring your data and you do a funnel analysis of that data. This is Claude using our Intelligems MCP and generating this chart for you, which I think that, at least for me, I am a super visual person. I prefer to read this in this way that a CSV file or something like that. you are getting that, you are getting like sessions, reach second page, added to cart, start to checkout, and now you start seeing like, okay, where might be a leak, and you see here that Claude is already giving you like a quick analysis of it. But also, if you have a file here telling Claude, hey, this is how you should be analyzing the funnel under this logic, under this mindset, it will do a way better job, and it will instruct you, it will guide you to a way better uh, hypothesis of what you want to validate with your business.
That's amazing.
Yep.
And really inspiring. And Victor, I can't resist thinking that we should keep doing sessions like this, because sometimes it just make a big difference to see some of this stuff in action compared to just like hearing about it or reading about it. I'm pretty sure people here are inspired by some of the things that you show us. This is only one way, uh, but obviously, like, people can take it from here in many different shapes and colors. Uh, but as I said before, it's an excited time to be part of this industry.
Yeah, definitely. Always, like, if someone is watching this and you would like to see a session where we take you from 0 to 100 in terms of like what is before all this, which is just understanding how to install Cloud Code, how to connect a MCP, things like that. I'm super open for that, and we can have a session on that as well.
That's amazing. Victor, thank you so much for joining us today, for your time, for taking over the entire presentation. Thanks for those of you who accommodated to joining us 1 hour later than originally planned, because we had to do last minute adjustments due to not having any be able to present. But I think, Victor, you did amazing, and I'm excited to keep going on these and other related topics. So thank you one more time for joining us and for inspiring us with some of the use cases we saw. Thank you all for joining us in this session of Live with Intelligems. And we'll keep seeing each other every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, or a couple of hours later or before, to keep discussing the best in terms of growth experimentation, e-commerce, and everything in between.
Thank you, Carlos, for inviting me here.
Thank you for your time, Victor, and we'll see you the next time.
Ciao.